Killeen, Texas, y'all, located in the heart of Texas, home to Fort Cavazos, also formerly known as Fort Hood Army Base. As many of you know, the Killeen area does not have the best reputation as far as crime and safety are concerned, but that doesn't mean that it's a bad place to live. As somebody that is not from here and that relocated here with the military, I'm going to provide you 5 things that you should know before moving to Killeen or the Central Texas area. We will address crime and safety, but I'm going to save that for last. So if you're curious if Killeen is a dangerous place to live or if it is a safe place to live, then stay tuned till the end. To begin with, I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Katie Salter. I'm a realtor here in the Killeen and Central Texas area, and I work with the Levi Rogers Real Estate Group. If you are curious what it is like to eat, sleep, play, work, and the pros and cons of living in Killeen, Texas, then hit that subscribe and the bell button to be notified of new videos. Now, I help people move here from all over the country and even from overseas. So if you are thinking about moving to the Killeen or Central Texas area or have questions, please feel free to call, text, email me days, nights, weekends, and I got your back when moving to Texas. Number one, the first thing we'll address is areas to live, because I'm sure that's probably one of the first questions that people have when moving here is, where do I live? In Killeen, you have quite a few options on places to live. There's a lot of different areas, some nicer than others, of course. They're doing a lot of new developing in the Killeen area with new construction everywhere. So you can really find some really nice places to live in Killeen. But if for whatever reason you don't want to live in Killeen, or you have no reason to live in Killeen, but you want to come to the Central Texas area, then there are a lot of options to choose from. Now, Interstate 14 runs through the middle of Killeen, and it connects with Interstate 35. So these two interstates will get you easy access to wherever it is that you want to live in this area and still be able to go to the other areas to work, shop, eat, whatever it is that you want to do. So to the west of Killeen is Copperas Cove. It's a relatively small town. And then to the east of Killeen and bordering Killeen, you have Harker Heights, another little small town that a lot of people will live in if they don't want to stay in Killeen. And then you have Temple Belton, east of Killeen also. So Killeen, Harker Heights, Temple Belton, all one county, but different cities. And then kind of in between Temple Belton and Austin, you have Salado. And those are the top places that people will live in this area. So you have Killeen, Copperas Cove, Harker Heights, Belton, Temple, and Salado. And at that point, once you leave those areas, you're getting closer to the city and things are going to get more expensive. Number 2 is things to do in proximity to major cities. So in Killeen, there isn't just an abundance of things to do. You kind of have your typical movies, bowling, restaurants, things like that. I will say there are a lot of great restaurants around here. It is very culturally diverse, so you have a lot of good food around here. There's just a lot of authentic restaurants, small businesses, food trucks, like all kinds of places you can just really get some good food. I will say that. Other than that, you kind of have to go outside of Killeen for things to do. To Harker Heights, there's still House Hollow Lake, and then in Belton, you have Belton Lake. And at both of these lakes, you can do your swimming, boating, fishing, hiking, camping. All your outdoor activities can kind of be centered around those areas. So if you're an outdoorsy kind of person, this is a really great place to live. You know, lots of parks. There are a lot of water parks around, pools. In the summertime, the lakes do get kind of dry, and it can be, you can't really swim in the lake, or it gets so dried up that you can't dock your boat in the lake. So then you have to turn to, you know, water parks and pools and whatnot. But other than that is the proximity to major cities. So Killeen is in the perfect spot to where you can travel to any major city within a short time. Well, I mean, not any major city, but a lot of the major cities in the state. So we are about an hour from Austin, about an hour north of Austin. So if you want to work in the Austin area or in that metropolitan area, have a lower cost of living, you can live in the Killeen area and it will be more affordable. And then you have Dallas and Fort Worth, which is about 3 hours, and then 2.5 hours to San Antonio, 3.5 hours to not Austin, Houston. And then you get to the coast and you're to the coast within 4 hours, and you can hit up Galveston, Corpus Christi. There's just so many things to do around here. Each area has a different landscape and offers its own beauty. And if you really like being able to enjoy city life but not have to live in the city, then this is the perfect place to be, because you still get that metropolitan lifestyle but kind of live a suburban life. You get the best of both worlds. So that's something that's very beneficial about living here, is just that proximity. Oh, and I forgot Waco. You have Waco about an hour north of Killeen also. So many options and things to do around here if you're willing to drive a couple hours. Number 3, we're going to talk about home prices, because of course, when you're moving somewhere, you want to know what you can expect as far as cost of living is concerned. So in Killeen, your average home price runs about $230, $250. And once you get out of Killeen into those other areas, Copper's Cove, Harker Heights, Temple Belton, your average home price rises a little bit, because those areas are a little more expensive than Killeen. And you also have to think about property taxes. So Texas is a state that you have to pay property taxes on top of your mortgage. So it can add a good, $300 to $400 on your mortgage. And your property tax is based upon what area you live in. So that can vary depending on where you live. And if you're more curious about the exact tax rate in the areas, please comment below, and I'm happy to provide you with that information. But for now, just know that there is a property tax that you will have to pay on top of your mortgage, and it is based on where you live, and it is based off the appraised value of your home. And there are different exemptions you can get to lower that. And this is a relatively cheap place to live. Gas stays pretty low compared to the national average. Food prices aren't bad. I will say electricity costs are very outrageous around here. For whatever reason, electricity is expensive in Texas. And what will happen is you may very well get solicited for solar panels when you move here. And as the advice of a realtor, and probably any realtor you meet, they're going to advise you not to do the solar panels. Just don't do it. Just don't. Don't do it unless it's going to be like a forever home. But it can make, if you're buying like a first time home, starter home, or you plan on moving, it can make selling your home extremely difficult. So just really think about it if you're approached about solar panels. And another thing about the electricity around here is you have the power to choose. So when you move here, you get to choose your electricity provider in most areas. Now, there are some areas, that are maybe the areas that are more rural, kind of outskirts of town. You're not going to get to choose your electricity provider, but in Killeen and those other areas, Harker Heights, Temple Belton, Copperas Cove, bigger cities, you're going to choose your electricity provider, and there's different plans to choose from. So that was something that I had never seen prior to moving here, and it's just a good thing to know so you're not caught off guard by that. Number 4, weather. because as everybody knows, Texas is hot. It is so hot here, so hot. And if you've been in the South in general, you know that the southern United States is just hot. You have a variation of humidity and dry heat. And here in this area, you get a lovely dose of dry heat. So it's kind of like when you're in a humid environment, you kind of feel like you're going to suffocate, you're just sweating profusely. But in a dry heat, it's more like walking into an oven. You just kind of feel like you're baking. So I guess if you have a preference on the type of heat you like, I personally prefer the dry heat. I think it's much more comfortable than very humid weather. And with that being said, the bugs. There are some really atrocious bugs around here, things that I had never seen prior to moving here. I've seen scorpions in my home, centipedes that are 3 inches long and they're black, and giant spiders. There's tarantulas, snakes galore. Just the bugs are out of control here. And if you're not a bug person, then you're gonna have a hard time. But I will say what's helped a lot is professional pest control, because prior to moving here, I did not pay for professional pest control. I always did pest control myself. But professional pest control here is almost a necessity. It's just so many bugs. It's so hot. You do get some cool weather in the fall, spring, winter. It gets cooler. You can expect 50s, 60s, but it's very windy here in the cooler months, so it can make the cold a lot more uncomfortable than it would be otherwise, because 50, 55 is not that cold, but when you have wind gusts of up to 15 to 30 miles per hour, it is unbearable, and it is windy here. It is so windy. That is not something I would have ever thought prior to moving here. Maybe because it's a flatter landscape. I don't know, but it is windy, and you're probably going to have allergies, because the allergies around here are atrocious. Like you're going to have an arsenal of allergy medicine. You need your nose spray, you need your Zyrtec, and then there's a special Texas allergy medicine. That's how bad it is Texas has their own Texas-specific allergy medicine. Yep. So be prepared for hot weather, bugs, and allergies, because you're going to get it all. But I still enjoy living here, even though it's hot. Last but not least, as promised, number 5, crime and safety. I am not going to provide specific statistics on crime rates, and I'm not going to tell you specific areas to stay away from. What I'm going to give you is my opinion and what I've experienced since living here. Now, there are some horrific things that have happened here and that have happened on the Army base, and it's hard to imagine that this could be a safe place to live with the things that you have heard that have happened. But with that being said, I have been here for 6 years, and I personally have not experienced any type of crime, burglary, break-in, anything out of the ordinary. I know a lot of people that live in Killeen. I've done a lot of work in Killeen, and I just don't see people being affected by crime on a regular basis. Now, you have your, every once in a while, maybe somebody might try to break in your car or whatnot, but even then, it's like, that really just doesn't happen a lot. And there is crime, there is, gun crimes and things like that, but really, if you stay away from certain areas and certain people, you don't have anything to worry about. There are those chances that you're going to get involved in some kind of freak accident or something of the such, but it's a relatively safe place to live. I just personally have not known anybody that has been a victim of a horrendous crime or anything like that around here. So, at the end of the day, it's all based on perception, and how you perceive where you live is everything. So if you're a glass half full or a glass half empty kind of person. That's going to really determine the type of experience you have here and how you feel about the area, because there really is a lot to enjoy and a lot to do. So there is no reason to dread moving here or whatnot. People come here from all over the place because they hear what a great place Central Texas is, and it's growing and flourishing, and don't miss out on an opportunity to live in an amazing place. So if you are moving to the Central Texas area, again, feel free to call, text, email me days, nights, weekends, and I got your back. Bye.